Today, we're going to be talking about the difference between MTG Arena and paper Magic. So, if you're a Magic player right now, it's kind of been the necessity to be playing Arena for the last few months, with COVID-19 being the most predominant health problem in the world. You've probably found yourself thinking, wow, I'm not going to be able to play Magic, but then again, we have Arena to play. It's a wonderful service that is provided, and it's free for the most part, unless you'd like to put money into it, and I'm sure Hasbro would love you to put some money into it. I personally bought the starter pack for $5, and I did not look back. It was a really good little introductory thing to get me into the game, give me some gems, get me some extra cards, and I then used the gems to buy myself a season pass for the most recent set, which is Ikoria. So what that actually ends up doing is it uses the Fortnite system, allowing you to use those gems to get extra rewards as you progress through the levels. It's been something that I've really found great because I don't get enough time to play paper, really. I have my Friday nights, but I am a bit of a Magic junkie. I really want to continue playing, and because I own a store, I work another job, I have to make sure that I'm getting in games when I can. So Arena's kind of been a wonderful thing for me. But I've noticed some major differences between the two formats. And we're going to be going over those a little bit today. First of all, I want to just go over a quick announcement that happened on Arena most recently. Winota, the Joiner of Forces, has been suspended in Historic. So Historic as a format is the legacy format of Arena. Players can play any cards that are legal in Arena on the format, apart from a few select ban cards like Field of the Dead, Once Upon a Time, Oko, just as a few examples. Winota's joining that list right now because it's overtly way too powerful. Creating a little bit of a well where you're seeing about 60% of the decks running Winota. And she kind of is unanswerable. So these are just some recent changes that I just wanted to quickly announce. I also wanted to break down a little bit of the meta that I've been seeing and some of the differences that I've noticed between paper and Arena. First off, let's start with the meta that we've been seeing as of late. As of late, we've been seeing a lean into the control ever since the banning and the changes in the companion roles. So when Agent of Treachery was banned, we definitely saw a move, and, well, of course, the companion change. We saw a move towards the control side of things. The decks that we've been seeing the most play percentage-wise have been Jund Sacrifice. If you're aware of that, it's basically cat combo. We are then going on to Teamer Control. It's got either a setup that you can do through Wilderness Reclamation, or you can actually just outvalue your opponent with million 2-for-1s. We then have Blue-White Control, your traditional control deck. It's Teferi, Elspeth, go type of situation. You're just going to delay the game until you can get a Dream Trawler, and awesome. We have Bant Control, another similar deck to the Teamer and the Blue-White Control, and then finally Jeskai Control. So those have been our top 5 control decks. In the aggro deck camp, we've had Winota as the big prevailing deck now that Lurrus has kind of been nerfed. We still are seeing a lot of red deck wins. That is something that we kind of always see in every format. We are also seeing Boros Cycling making a really big stamp on the format. It is a very powerful deck. It tends to be what I've been playing. I've been playing either the Winota deck or the Cycling deck myself. I've been seeing some great results with both of the decks. Then there is Selesnya aggro. That is, again, a very traditional aggro deck. It is just trying to outvalue your opponents with creatures that are bigger than theirs. It deals with the red deck very, very well, and it actually has enough life gain in it that's incidental that you might be able to get yourself an extra few turns against the Cycling deck. And then finally, something that I've noticed here in our personal meta, the Adventures deck. That's Teamer Adventures, trying to get value using the Lucky Clover. You're getting your Beanstalk Giants, your Fae of Wishes, all of these value plays that you're going to be able to draw cards off of Innkeeper, and you're going to just be taking advantage of that throughout the whole game. You will eventually just outvalue your opponent until they're dead. It usually works more as a mid-range deck, but currently in the meta right now, we've kind of found that there really isn't a home for mid-range right now. And that's kind of been the case for like a while at this point. Until we see some major changes in the format, until Teferi is taken out of the format, I think we are going to see a pretty strong divide. Control probably will have the upper hand, currently sitting at 63% of decks are control decks. This is information from MTG Top 8. Aggro decks are about 37% of the meta, and combo decks slot at a magical 2, and they're the Garuda decks, attempting to do Garuda shenanigans, attempting to combo off on about turn 6. So not too much of a great showing there. It's just too weak to the control decks, and when we see a control deck really taking center stage, we will see those combo decks really cut down, and especially we will also see an aggro deck that will tend to push forward. And those are the aggro decks that are attempting to cheat things. They're trying to move a little bit farther beyond just playing creatures, because your 7 cards in your hand versus the control player's 7 cards, they'll be able to neuter about 4 to 5 of your threats. So you need to have those 2 to 3 threats really win the game for you. If they find a way to stifle you for more than 2 to 3 turns, you're not going to win. Control's just going to take over. Winota decks, on the other hand, will take that ability away from the control decks to be able to 2-for-1 you, because you're 2-for-1ing them. One other major change, and this is going to be my last topic for the day, has been the changes in Limited. Looking at Ikoria as a limited format. In a weird way, I have to say, I feel like Ikoria was made for online. The number of counters that you can place on creatures is a bit overwhelming. There are nearly 10 counters that you have to be able to place on creatures, on top of your +1/+1 counters, your flying, your menace, your every other keyword that they offered in the set. Those are things you have to maintain. Number 2, you have to maintain the mutate. So you're going to have to be layering your cards. You're going to have to layer them to make sure that you're seeing all of the keywords, all of the special abilities of the cards, activated abilities, mutate abilities, all on those cards, and still be able to maintain power and toughness. It looks exceptionally messy in paper, but online it is seamless. It looks beautiful. It's as though they designed it for that program. And that's one thing that I've been down on Ikoria a little bit about in paper, because it is so seamless. Like, we all got used to using it in Arena, and it looks so good that when you do it in paper, it just looks like a bit of a muddled mess. I'm sure that because they were able to include the tokens that they did for the same style tokens they did in Amonkhet for brick counters and +1 and -1 counters and the exert counters, but it made it more complicated with the number of counters that we had to add. So I would give Ikoria as a limited format online close to an 8 or a 9. In paper, it feels more like a 6, because it's still exceptionally interesting, but it's a harder format to play in Limited, because we're not seeing these mutate decks really take off too much. There are about 2 mutate decks that I've seen online that are serviceable, but they're not going to do everything we need them to do. And especially in paper, it is a mess keeping all of it in check. All right, guys. Well, I hope you really enjoyed my analysis of Arena versus paper. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, ring the bell icon to get notifications from us, and we hope to open something legendary with you another time. Bye-bye.